Okay. Well, the other stock I wanted to discuss was Reliance Infra, because it's seen a fairly decent rally in the past few weeks. And Mayuresh Joshi of Angel Broking has joined in. So, Mayuresh, good morning. And may I toss that question to you? Do you all have Reliance Infra in your coverage? What's the price target?
Morning, Lata. No official coverage on Reliance Infra per se, but the kind of business units that Reliance Infra is running and the intention of the management to probably divest its assets, specifically on the port part which is remaining now, I think that is going to be a key, because the entire focus now is probably to get out of all these assets and probably have a concentrated approach on the defense foray that it is probably got into. Now, the valuations that it will receive or is expected to receive on the port assets will be very, very interesting to see. So if it gets much higher than what the street is probably expecting, I might expect the stock to probably rally further from the current levels. But again, I think the core focus of the business is going to be defense. Defense is going to be one big theme, specifically in this government's regime as well. And again, I think the entry barriers are pretty high. So I think the stock will react positively if the port asset sale probably goes through. But again, I think no official coverage. It's very difficult to give a target price.
Okay. Mayuresh, how are you reading Edelweiss's expansion plans? They will be acquiring JP Morgan's mutual fund business in India, which has assets under management of more than 7,000 crore rupees. Is this, would you bet on Edelweiss financials, considering the market sentiment is improved and they're expanding?
So again, officially no coverage on this one as well, but again, the assets that they've taken, kind of valuations that one really expects, because if you see the comparative acquisition valuations of what the acquisition of Goldman Sachs assets had happened, I think it would be a comparable or a fair deal if Edelweiss goes through in the same kind of deal valuations. However, having said that, it's very essential to note that the capital market activity has picked up quite meaningfully. And again, I think the kind of business segments that Edelweiss probably runs at this point of time are going to be very, very lucrative in the long run. So again, I think I think the kind of deal valuations, the exact amount, very, very important in this case. If one goes by the historical valuations that have happened for asset acquisitions in India, I would probably assume that it would be a fair deal for Edelweiss.
What's the in-house view on Cadila and its explanation, Mayuresh?
So, Lata, the explanation was quite satisfactory in my opinion, and again, if you see the kind of site transfers that the management has already initiated, specifically from its Moraiya facility, there are 4 key launches coming through: Ascol, Prevakid, Toprol. I think these new launches are going to be extremely key and crucial for Cadilla's earnings growth going forward. Its domestic business, specifically the domestic formulations business, has held up pretty well. So if you take into account the CVS foray, the respiratory foray that Cadila already had in the domestic market, I think that footing is pretty, very strong. Having said that, the export markets, it accounts for 50%, which is a combination of developed as well as the emerging economies, are doing pretty reasonable as well. So I think the R&D expense, in our opinion, should be between 7 to 8%. We're still expecting EBITDA margins to stay between the 20-22% kind of a range. And again, I think all the key concerns related to Moraiya, I think the management does expect these resolutions to probably happen over the next couple of quarters. So that is going to be one key trigger point for Cadila specifically, if that approval and the reinspection, if it happens over the next few quarters, if that goes through. The earnings, which are expected to grow between 22 to 24%, can actually compound over the next few years. So again, I think largely it's dependent on what happens with Moraiya, what happens with his new launches. And again, I think the site transfer are going to be extremely crucial. The management has initiated the site transfers. So if they go as per plan and as per schedule, our own take is that a 24% earnings growth can very well be seen for Cadila over the next couple of years.
Okay, stay on, gentlemen. We'll get our viewers a few more trading ideas in our segment Super 6.
My first topic for the day will be a buy on Just Dial. The stock did really well in yesterday's trade, and I expect for the momentum here to continue. The stock can be bought with a stop loss at 695 and a target of 725.
Today's our first pick is NCC. Since a level of 55, the stock has been inching up higher, forming a higher top, higher bottom formation. And in this instant, the previous swing high it acts as a very important support level. So NCC is a buy with a price target of 79.30 and maintain a stop below 72.
Our first recommendation is buy on Hero MotoCorp. Now this stock for last 3 weeks was trading in a range. In fact, this consolidation took shape of a flag pattern, On Tuesday's trade, the stock gave a breakout on the upside. So buy Hero MotoCorp for a target of 2950 and maintain a stop loss of 2820.
My second pick will be a buy on Vedanta. I think the stock is broken out fresh on the charts, can be bought with a target of 97. One should put a stop loss at 94 and go long on Vedanta.
Our second pick is Hindustan Unilever. On Monday's trading session, the stock gave a breakout of triangular pattern, and during previous trading session, the stock tested its neckline, and we expect the stock to inch up higher from the current juncture. So Hindustan Unilever is a buy with a price target of 897 and maintain a stop below 852.
A second recommendation is buy on JSW Steel. Now JSW Steel has been a typical uptrending stock. In fact, last 3 weeks, most of the metal stocks are showing good strength and JSW Steel is leader among them. So now after being an uptrend, the stock was showing some signs of consolidation. On Tuesday, this consolidation broke on the upside. So buy JSW Steel for a target of 1290 and maintain a stop loss of 1210.
Welcome back. Asia is still a mixed picture, but not bad at all. The falls are just 0.1 and thereabouts. So let's get back to analysing our own markets internals from the futures and options angle. Mangalam Maloo is joining us with what we have inherited from yesterday. Mangalam.
Well, incremental money is being committed on the long side as far as index futures is concerned by the foreign investors, though the quantum is slightly lesser than what we have seen in the previous sessions as well. So 200 crore worth purchase in index futures, that's a positive. Another positive is the fact that 800 crore worth selling in index options has come by, and there we have seen selling in index puts, short positions in index puts, and the way the markets recovered from the low point of the day yesterday, we saw some puts being written at levels as high as 7,700 as well, ahead of the long weekend, perhaps for a bit of eating into the premium itself. As far as the data point that stands out is the sell figure in stock futures, where about 1,100 crore worth positions were sold in stock futures, where a large chunk of long positions were cut and a fresh chunk of short positions of about 14,000 contracts were added as well. Most of them were in names like Cadila and Dr. Reddy's, where we saw some fresh shorts being written, as well as Godrej consumer products. Long unwinding seen on heavyweights like ITC as well as Tech M, but TVS Motor Company, that one has been going from strength to strength, fresh long positions seen there as well. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Mangalam. And with that, let's get you some F&O strategies as well. Chandan Taparia of Anand Rathi Securities has joined us. Morning, Chandan. What's the strategy on the Nifty itself today?
Yes, good morning. We have seen strong momentum in the Nifty index in the entire series. Series to series basis index is up by around 10% with built up of long position. It is trading 300 points away from its volume weightage average of 74.20 level, which clearly indicates that bears got badly trapped in the market, and because of that, every small decline may attract the short covering activity. We have seen fresh put writing at all the lower strike, including 75, 76, and fresh put writing at 7700 strike is now providing the support near to 76.20 kind of zone. So on immediate basis, till Nifty holds above 76.20, 76.50 zone, the trend may remain intact to positive. But now fresh call writing is happening at 7800 strike, which might keep the upside limited. So on immediate basis, till market holds the support of 76.20, 76.50 zone, I'm expecting this momentum to extend to our 77, 77 to 78.25 kind of level. Here the risk reward ratio might not favor as index is rallied by more than 10% in the entire series. So better to trade with the bull call spread, buy 7700 call, sell 7800 call. In the entire study, risk would be 40 points, and traders will get the benefit of the positive momentum of the market.
Okay, that's for the Nifty. Within the Nifty, you have a buy on SBI's calls.
Yes, we have seen the outperformance of the Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty is up by around 17% in the entire series, and adding fresh open interest activity. We have seen a short covering activity at the start of the series, and now fresh long indicates that this momentum may extend. Although Bank Nifty has been outperforming the broader market, and there are selective PSU banks which are now started to perform. Talking about the SBI, the stock has managed to cross the immediate hurdle of 189, 190 zone. Earlier we have seen fresh put writing at 185, 190, and now that put writing shifted to 195 and 200 strike, which clearly indicates this momentum extend to us 205 to 207 level. So I am suggesting to trade with slightly at the money to in the money call, suggesting to buy 195 call, keep the stop loss of 2.5, and if SBI manages to move by 2 to 3%, then this call can head to us 8 rupees to 9 rupees in next 1 or 2 trading session.
Actually, I did want to ask about the banks of our other experts as well. Sudarshan, Prakash and Ashwini. Ashwini, is there any bank individually that you would play?
See, banks have all, rallied way away from their averages, so kind of overextended. But if you have to play one bank, maybe SBI still looks like we can get up to 210, 215. The PSU banks still have the catch up to do. I think private banks are, probably way too overextended for, buys in the short term.
Fair enough. Mr. Tulchan, I wanted to ask you about Kesoram yet again. You explained to us all those bunch of bulk deals that happened in Mangalam Cement, Century, Twins and all those stocks. What about Kesoram itself? Now is it a buy? There seems to have been some activity in that stock as well.
See, Lata, actually if you see this process of the debt reduction and asset monetization has started. In Kesoram, 2200 crore they will be receiving now from JK Tyre for any moment, because Competition Commission has cleared that from Haridwar plant. 180 crores have come from the preferential issue in the form of equity share issue at 120 rupees per share to promoter and convertible preference shares at effectively at same price to IndusInd Bank Limited. That makes 200 crore. Now 430 crore has come yesterday from this investment sale. Yeah. Now if you just take a step forward, going forward, they have they are left with the tire plant at second tire plant at Balasore, and I don't think that there is any reason for the company to continue with the tire plant. So maybe that can get sold at 1600 crore or 1800 crore. That's again the talk going on. Then apart from that, the spun pipe and the chemical division at Hooghly has been sold for 150 crore. So 2200 crore. I'm just first referring the amount which are going to get come into the kitty of the company in next maybe couple of months. 2200 crore from JK Tyre plant, 430 crore, take a round figure 450 crore from investment sale, 2650, 150 crore from spun pipe, 2800 crore, and 200 crore has come as a preferential. So 3000 crore has already come into the kitty or will come in next of months, the total debt of the company, including the working capital, is about 5,500 crore, including the amount which are due in payable in the next 1 year. So 3,000 gets knocked off by this state, 2,500 crore remaining debt. Take about 1,000 crore as the working capital finance. So that's not a cause of worry. And if they sell the tire plant also at Balasore, 3 lakh ton per annum, and which if that fetches about 1,500 crore, so that will virtually make the company debt free. Now come on the shareholding pattern. The equity the shareholder, the promoter stake is at about 46% stake, which has got increased to 49 and 49.5% by this preferential issue which I have referred a week back or maybe 10 days back. That has raised it to 49.5%. So now market is speculating that 49%, if you see, 42% is held by Century Textile and Pilani Investment, and both the companies are directly in the control of Aditya Birla Group, AV Birla Group, that is Kumar Mangalam. So market is now speculating that out of 49%, if 46% plus the preferential issue which has also been made to the Aditya Birla Group company, only about less than 1% stake is held by Manjushri Khaitan and BK Birla in the individual capacity. So entire 49% is held by the corporate companies which are in the group of AV Birla. So it's an obvious conclusion that Kesoram is coming in the fold of AV Birla Group company. And if that happens, that's very positive. And if you take an enterprise value, market cap of about 1,200 crore and debt of say 5 to 600 crore, because working capital amount should not be counted for the enterprise value, it comes to a valuation of about $32 per ton for Kesoram Industries, because they have a capacity of 7.5 million ton and they have presence in southern India. They have in Karimnagar and they have in Gulbarga. And actually Aditya Birla Group company Ultratech is not having much presence in southern India. In fact, yesterday we talked about the consolidation also, if the merger happens or maybe if the transfer happens, what will be the situation. So overall, market is now moving on the premise that it will become a AV Birla Group company, and that will vastly re-rate the stock. So taking this into consideration, I am quite positive on the stock, and still I see upside now maybe of about 20% maybe happening in next 3 to 4 months, because this theme will keep continue, or is being played out from here on.
All right. By the way, we have a company which is joining in.
I just wanted to say that the markets are still extremely dicey, so we can wait to tell you the pre-opening rates, let them settle down. The rupees opened like 4 pies weaker, nothing much, but we have a guest joining us. Sorry.
Yes, very, very flat for the market. So let's move our attention and address the story in HOEC. Ashok Goel,
Mr. Elango. That's Hindustan Oil Exploration. It was only a financial stake purchase, is what the management tells us. The markets have opened absolutely flat as flat can get. So let's get a couple of more strategies in from Chandan, right? Chandan, we didn't finish our Arvind strategy.
Yes, talking about Arvind, the stock is just consolidating in a range, but as per the database, we are getting an early sign of the momentum towards 290. But as we are heading towards the expiry, so I'll suggest to trade with bull call spread. In the strategy, buy 280 call, sell 290 call. One is to pay the total premium of 3 points, and as per the view, if a stock heads to 290, then we'll get profit of around 7 points. So risk reward ratio is quite attractive. 3 rupees only risk and 7 rupees reward. I'm expecting Arvind to slowly head towards 290 levels in this expiry.
Okay. Chandan, you've got a few sell calls. Take us through that.
Yes, I have two selling idea. Although market has been moving upwards, but now near to the crucial supply zone, so recommending to a few selective trading idea where I'll suggest to keep the strict stop loss. One trade is sell on CA Tire. CA Tire has done well, but now finding crucial hurdle near to 1125, 1130 zone. In fact, on last trading session, the stock fell down with liquidation of long position, and now selling is continuously witnessing at higher levels. So recommending to sell with the stop loss of 1125 for the downside target of 1040. Second trade is sell on KSEL, Kaveri Seeds Limited. The stock has made double top kind of formation, failed to surpass immediate hurdle of 414, 417 kind of levels. It is turning from the higher band of the recent trading range, and liquidation of long position followed by fresh shorts may take it to lower level. So recommending to sell with a stop loss of 413 for the downside immediate target of 387 levels.
All right. Actually, hold on. Let's play out the bullseye participants. The Nifty is up 2 points and the Sensex is down 8 points. That's where the pre-opening rates are indicating. But the Bank Nifty has taken a bit of a knock. Let's see if that's the way things will pan out. If it were indeed to open at 7717 mark, Ashwini, what's the trade?
You should look for a dip and then buy it, because it's clear that it is halting around these levels. So wait for a dip to about 76.50, 76.70.
Okay. The big gainers continue to be Tata Power, Hindalco, Grasim. So EV Birla Group companies, and basically metal companies, doing well. Is there a trade in, you did give us some of the metal companies, Sudarshan. Hindalco also, you said you were positive?
Yeah, I was positive. It was just a matter of chance I selected Tata Steel. And since we are talking of real estate, apart from the ones that we have already heard from my other friends, Indiabulls real estate is also giving us a similar bullish pattern, a head and shoulder, bullish head and shoulder on the verge of breaking out. That's also something, it's a swing trade. You know, these trades will make money if you hold them for a few days. But I think IB real estate should be attractive today.
Okay, that's a photo finish. And there goes the opening bell. Okay, mildly in the red, 3-4 points lower, 7709, 77 held importantly at this point in time only. The Nifty 25,285, so again just about holding in flat terrain, 0.2 to about 0.25% lower. And the Bank Nifty is now down about 0.5%. Hindalco is the top gainer. It's got a thumbs up in terms of a buy call from Credit Suisse. So they see the Novelis account as well turning around. Aluminium prices bottoming out. So their price target is 110 rupees. And that probably, along with other technical factors, as our experts pointed out, has pushed that stock up to 2.5%. Tata Power continues with the good job it did yesterday for the bulls. It's up 1.7%. ACC, Grasim, Cement Place continue. Grasim, of course, has other reasons why. It's a holding company for a very richly valued cement company. So the holding company discount has to wear out at some point. Verinder was pointing out highly undervalued stocks. That's moved up 1%. Hero Motor up about 0.7%. That was also among our Chartist buys. Bharti Airtel 0.7. Bosch continues the good work, 0.8 up. Tata Steel 0.5%. Coal India, Vedanta, M&M, Ambuja, all of them up about 0.5% to 0.6%. Well, more important perhaps to see what is in the red and weighing against the bulls. SBI, okay, all the banks. Banks are actually down 0.5% at an index level. Obviously, the trouble is not caused by just Bank of Baroda and SBI. Both are down about 1%. But the private sector banks are the ones pulling down the Bank Nifty. ICICI Bank is down almost 1%. HDFC, the housing boy, is down 0.7%. Yes Bank is down 0.5%. HDFC Bank, the biggest weight on Bank Nifty, is down about 0.5%. Kotak Bank as well down 0.25%. So all the banks are down, some more than the others.
Okay, for the mid-cap end, it's an absolutely flat start. The advanced decline ratio is marginally in favor of the gaining side. So 450 stocks in the green for 300 on the losing side. Talking about the few big winners, Gammon India surged 7.5% straight away. Remember, CNBC TV 18 sources suggested that the company is in its final stages to sell its EPC business. Nimesh was telling us about it. So that's one stock to watch. HOEC is higher in trade. Now, the promoter stake sale overhang is out of the way after a financial institutor, the Ashok Goel Trust, has stepped in. So HOEC is up nearly 10%. The promoter stake sale overhang is out of the way. Kalpataru Power winning a 1320 crore order win. Kesoram Industry will get cash inflows to the tune of 430 crore rupees after it sold its stake in various other group entities. That's a stock which is up and about. Edelweiss Financial has gained 3% after acquiring JP Morgan's mutual fund business at pretty reasonable valuation. Edelweiss has gained close to about 3%. Just Dial is another stock which is moving quite well. In fact, this week itself, Just Dial has seen a rally of close to about 12 to 13%. And Sugar is fairly active. Sudhampur Sugar, as well as Triveni Engineering and Triveni Sugar, where there is news about the company's demerger plans. That's a group of stocks which is up and about. IDFC Bank also holding up in the green. Other than that, you've also got some gains visible in McNally Bharat, but just close to about 0.5%. On the losing side, Cadila, the overhang of the WHO notice weighs. Cadila has lost another 3% in trade. PC Jewelers, a stock which Sudarshan had recommended to go short, has also slipped close to about 1.5%. Cut seen in banking names like Andhra Bank, IDBI Bank, and Nalco is weak, close to about 3.5% in trade. But largely, it's a quiet start. The Nifty is around that 7,700 mark. Mid caps are holding up with very, very slim gains. Anuj, you want to come in on the opening?
Yeah, on expected lines, Reema, some consolidation for the Nifty. The big Nifty trade might be done for now. Though, as I said, maybe during expiry you see one more move towards 7900, but the idea would be to focus on individual stocks. For the Nifty now, the risk reward may not favor you. Yes, you got a bit of a bounce back from yesterday's low. It may not repeat every day. The Nifty could be ripe for one day of profit booking. Could happen today ahead of long weekend, could happen any day, but my sense is that still the way to play in this market is mid caps, and this is not a market in which you want to short yet, because the market clearly hasn't given that sign. As you saw yesterday also, from the lows the market recovered quite a bit.
Okay, yeah, that point is taken. It's still strong and the mid cap is flat. So let's see how things pan out. But now the Sensex's loss has expanded to 100 points. That's 0.4%. Nifty as well down over 0.25%, 7.7 given up, and Bank Nifty is taking bigger cuts, clearly, 15,800 and something. So it's a distance away from 16,000, a good distance. Prakash, is there anything that has now attracted your interest?
Two stocks. One is Adani Power. That looks okay. Seen a good up move. Perhaps up move could continue to levels maybe around 32.50 or so. And I would have a stop below 31.50 and trade long here. And second is Oil India. Looks like the move is building up here. Very strong support on the levels of 313. That's the place I would have a stop. Possible target on the upside could be in the vicinity of 327, purely from a trading angle. Looks good to me, Oil India.
Prakash, you recommended a buy on Tata Power, but it straight away opened up at levels of about 63, which was where your target was. Would you like to revise the levels for us?
I feel it can climb to levels closer to 66 or 67 also in the days to come. Only thing is more of a medium-term, short-term trade out here, more of a swing trade here. Dips could be bought as long as we have a close of yesterday that holds, and that is somewhere around 62. Quite deep though, but yes, that's a place I would have a stop.
Fair point. Ashwini, anything else now attracting you?
See, yesterday I had said, in fact today morning I had said that this hammer pattern is a sign of caution. So, the place we are standing is the place where we gapped down when we were falling, and then we fell almost 800 points from there. So the place is right for a reaction to come in, and going by today's opening initial trades, I think Bank Nifty you can go short because it's kind of achieved a psychological level of 16,000. So maybe we could test yesterday's low. So the first trade is to get short on the Bank Nifty. But overall, I think the mid caps should continue to outperform. The correction may be limited to just the large caps, which have run up quite a bit in the short run.
By the way, Grasim is another stock which is up close to about 2%. Goldman Sachs today has maintained its buy rating, but the target price is at 5,050, which means it's close to about a 35% upside from current levels. And Varinder has been painstakingly telling us for the last few days that after the big run-up that we've seen in Ultratech Cement, Grasim's holding in Ultratech Cement is now, the holding company discount has widened, and therefore Grasim should be a stock that we need to be tracking closely.
Okay. Well, Mayuresh, I wanted to ask you your generally your set of buys that are recommending from Angel. Today we've got buys on Hindalco from Credit Suisse, so clearly playing the growth story now, both globally, the commodity troughing out, as well as the India story. There is also buys coming in on capital goods from Credit Suisse as well. They're playing VA Tech Wabag, Macquarie is playing NCC, L&T. All of them are betting on the India growth story, I would assume. What are you in agreement with that theme, and what would your buys be?
No, clearly, Lata, I think if you see how the government focus has been, and if one really assumes that corporate earnings bouncing back over the next 2 to 3 quarters, private capex probably following the government capex and the kind of spending and the borrowing program that the government has announced, I think it's a matter of time that the private capex will start picking up. Now, if you go by these themes, clearly I think cement stroke infrastructure stroke construction should benefit in a big way. Now, within cement itself, I think large cap names have moved quite significantly. What I really like, again, at this point of time, are companies which are having a niche presence. So something like an Orient Cement is something that I'm liking at this point of time. Yes, I think the entire theme would be on how the demand recovery cycle will pick up for the cement industry as a whole. But with the kind of spending activity that one really expects on infrastructure, on housing, and the kind of commissioning that Orient Cement has done recently, our own take is that the next couple of quarters the results might be a little bit soft. But if you go beyond FY16 numbers, get into FY17, the numbers will be far better. better. It's very, very close to limestone reserves, very close to coal reserves. You're probably talking about their key markets, Telangana, Maharashtra, being serviced, and the lead distance is very, very short. So it is one of the lowest cost producers when it comes to cement. Input costs are pretty low, the freight costs are pretty low, the power and fuel costs are pretty low. So again, I think the next couple of quarters results might be a little bit soft, but again, over the largest scheme of things, our own take is that this company might post better numbers from FY17. So cement as a theme is something that we are liking. Within cement, I think Orient Cement is something that we'll continue to like. And again, I think power, the kind of government focus that is there on power, whether that is through the Uday scheme and the other initiatives that the government has taken, our own take is that power and ancillary companies, transmission companies should do really well going forward, as well as the defense guys. So with the new procurement policy coming through, our own take is that new orders will come through, the margin improvement will happen, the receivable days will come down. So companies like Bharat Electronics can do reasonably better over the next couple of years.
Okay, another stock which is worth highlighting is Tata Communications. This is a CIMB note where they say that the probability of the land demerger has improved. The government has appointed a consultant to work on the preparatory steps to enable the demerger or the disposal of the surplus land, and the consultant is likely to submit the report with suitable options by April. So that's just next month itself, and then the final decision will be made by the Government of India. So it's a step closer to that disposal of excess land that Tata Communication has been sitting on. And this has been a long-standing dispute between the government and Tata Communications, because the company has been unable to raise any kind of equity because of the lack of clarity on this.
But it's important to note that that land will go to the Tata Communications minority shareholders.
Yes.
That land doesn't belong to the Tatas.
No,
it was VSNL's land,
correct.
excess land, which was from the start the government said that it doesn't go to the Tatas. Yes,
how it helps?
Actually, if you see 44% or 45% is held by Tatas, they won't get a single penny out of this land. 26% is with the government. That will go to government, and the 44%, 26% has been tendered by the shareholders. So it will go to the shareholders, those who have tendered 10 years back. But see the delay, and I tell you, frustration on part of 10 years have gone this open offer, and nothing has been done. So what ultimately will translate into that 25% which is now in the public float, they are going to get the shares, but the government must quickly act upon this. I'm not saying that.
I don't know whether the files are also there of the original
and the land is only belonging in 4 cities at 4 places, but that has a huge chunk, huge value, even the government. But maybe now, with a view to monetize or mobilize the money, government will take a quick step in that direction. But yes, you are right, Tatas are not entitled for even a single square feet of land. Benefit of that will not.
The money will not come to Tata Communications, but how it helps, it won't come to the company also. How it helps the company is that once this overhang is out of the way, the company can go ahead and raise capital from the equity markets and pay down their debt, which is actually very high.
If you ask me, even Tatas are not serious. They think, chalta hai, if I'm holding that land, what difference does it make? I'm not banking on that asset. So let me not blame the government alone. Even Tatas need to be, and I had my talk with 2-3 senior officials of the company that even you seem to be, lethargy and not initiating step in that direction. Yeah.
Well,
anyway, that's a stock.
The government has to act first, and if they won't, they can. They are the sovereign. But anyway, we have that's the opening rates on the market. The Nifty still just clinging on or straddling 7,700. It's still not giving up gains. So perhaps there is more to come. We'll have to wait and see. Ashwini, if it goes on at the 7,700 mark, what's the scene? I mean, it's a no trade zone at this juncture, is it?
No trade zone for people who want to wait for the Nifty to show its hand, but it's clear that it's not showing great momentum or great intention of going beyond 7720. So maybe it'll try some more, and afternoon could be different, because we are kind of stalling now at 7700, 7720. 3 days have passed. So let's see which way the cookie crumbles. But the way banks have reacted early morning, that's probably a bit of a sign. Also, individual banks, private banks have become far overextended from their averages. So chances are that, some amount of correction is now likely, and a lot of stocks, if you see, are unable to take out yesterday's highs. Meanwhile, mid-cap pharma is coming back. So Ajanta Pharma, also Stride Shasun, they are doing well for the day. So individual stocks, I think, will continue to do their thing.
Fair point. Thank you very much, Mr. Tulsian, Mayuresh, Prakash. We will keep Ashwini and Sudarshan for a bit more to track the cues after perhaps half an hour of the market opening. Maybe Rima, you want to recap everybody's picks?
Yes, let's start with Ashwini Gujral's recommendations for the day. The first one is a buy on DLF, target price 124, stop loss 110. He's got a buy call on Reliance Infrastructure, target price 560, stop loss 530. The next one is a buy on SRF, target price 1265, stop loss at 1200. And he's also recommending a buy call on JSW Steel, target price 1275, stop loss at 1210. And finally, a buy call on Ajanta Pharma, target price 1430 and stop loss at 1360.
All right, and a recap of Sudarshan Sukhani's stocks for the day. He has a buy call on Tata Steel, target 324, stop loss 306. He has a buy call on Reliance Infra. There the target is 550 rupees, stop loss 525. Then a buy on Hexaware, target is 274, stop loss 268. And a buy call on the other mid-cap pharma that we were talking about, Ajanta Pharma, target is 1420, stop loss 1375. So those are common stocks. He also has a buy on LIC Housing Finance, target is 489 and a stop loss at 471. The final one is the sell call. That is on PC Jewelers. There the target is 340, the stop loss is 355.
Okay, let's move on then to Prestige Estates. That's a stock which is up close to 5.5% today. It was up nearly 10% in yesterday's trade as well. Irfan Razak, the CMD of Prestige Estates, joins us now. Good morning, Irfan, and thanks so much for taking the time out and speaking to CNBC TV 18.